That's a good one. That's a good one.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Riding Around After Church. Riding home after church, riding around, something.
We ride.
I love how we got Luke Spruce with us again, everybody. I love how Luke's kids were like, "Is my daddy riding with you?" He's like, yeah, he can. He wants to. So we got we was all just talking about it before we hit the record button, but man, what a day we had with Jesus.
Explosive.
And I will say, Pastor Brandon, I don't know how you were in the truck with me and Gideon yesterday when we went and picked up the table, but we spoke your sermon word for word. We both said Jesus been speaking the same thing to it. Yep. Like we can go ahead, break it down. What did we talk about this morning?
This morning. So Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31 is a popular verse of scripture. It says, those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as of eagles. They shall run and not grow weary. They shall walk and not faint. And this morning, what we talked about is the importance of having that intimate time with God, how God is a jealous God. He wants an intimate personal relationship with every human being, and he wants us walking with him daily, like spending time with him during the day, having that intimate time, whether it be in the mornings or the evenings, where we just wait on him and be with him. And then our doing comes from being with him. And then our business, our relationships, ministry flows from that place. And I think a lot of times, and I know I have, even recently, the past month or so, God's really been dealing with me on this, because I've gotten it backwards, where I've neglected the being and I just go straight to doing. And then when we do that, we get burnt out because our strength's not renewed, because we're not waiting on him and being with him. And things begin to, there's no, then our life becomes what we can do. It's all about, out of our own efforts, comes from our own strength, our own wisdom, our own knowledge. And at that point, we're pretty much, even if we're doing things in his name, we could be doing it without him.
Yeah.
Right? Even though he's there, he's not permitted to lead.
Well, what me and Pastor Gideon talked about, I just want to see what that felt like. It's weird.
It's weird.
What we talked about is, man, we could, and you mentioned it this morning, we could be doing a lot of good stuff. You know, we have good ideas and we feel like this is a good thing to go and do this, you know, but that don't mean it's a God thing, you know, like God has he's got a plan. And that's another thing me and Gideon talked about yesterday is, you know, every system of the world, every intellectual system, common sense system, and even the old covenant, it's all about demand, you know, like you got to do certain things to get a result. But the new covenant, it's all about supply, you know, and I think that's what God's been speaking to me hard, is that, like, he's like, you know, don't, like I try to come up with what's the perfect productivity list, what's the perfect order to do stuff, you know, the perfect way to get it all done. And God's like, no, you really just need to spend time with me, and then I supply like everything you need to actually get it done.
Yeah, I felt like, you know, Pastor Brandon, when you were talking, I just kept thinking, like, we want God to honor our plan instead of order our steps. You know, like we want to create a plan and we want God to honor it, and we want to find out that our plan was the best plan and that our plan succeeded, right? When God's like, why don't you just have me make the plan and then it'll succeed? Like we should want to do what God wants, because it's better every time, and not God keep trying to honor what we want to do. And you know, how often do we just sit there and wait and listen before we make a plan? We're like you said, we're go, right? We're like, hey, this has got to get done. Like I need to hurry up and prepare for this. So I'm going to go ahead and make the plan. And God, I'm just asking you to breathe on it. And it's like, yeah, how about you chill out for a second and like get still and let me actually get a word in to supply you with the best thing for you to do. And like, yeah. So when you started speaking on that, I was like, man, I think about it all the time, man. The same spirit that's within me is within you, it's within David, it's within Luke. And like, man, when me and David were talking about yesterday and how it was just like overflowing out your mouth, I was just sitting there thinking, man, it really is the same spirit living within us. Like it really is like what the spirit's like putting in like in the atmosphere and everything for people putting in people's spirits. It's like it's the same one. He's trying to get a message across. And man,
Well, Gideon's already wrote a song about it, I'm like, well, it's funny.
Partly.
It's funny that you sing that because like God's really been dealing with me hard on this thing, you know.
Yeah.
I really like Pastor too how you said how often do like you come into a service with a plan already, and a lot of times God doesn't move until the very end, but it's because he had to wait. God had to wait until we got to the end of ourselves before he could do anything. I really like that as well.
Well, it was a powerful service. I'm telling you, I was pumped up. I mean, God breathed on everything during the worship. Like people were receiving Jesus, like the real Jesus during the worship. People were just
we need to back up to when rehearsal stopped and prayer started. Because it was just deep during prayer. You know?
It really was, man. Like I just
and there's a shift I personally that I've seen. It's probably at least the past month. People have been coming to church excited about Jesus. Like they're coming with expectancy for God to do something great, and the atmosphere has been like a revival atmosphere. Like when you go to a conference and everybody, I mean, they've spent money, they've spent their time and energy getting to a place. Well, they're expecting God to do something, and God always does because he meets us at but the atmosphere has been charged lately at the church.
super charged.
So grateful. Like people have been coming, like just wanting God, like just care about nothing else, just being with him. And even the songs, man, the songs go along with the message and everything. Talking about what's that?
Jesus being everything, dude.
Yeah,
being
Jesus
the
being
center
everything.
of our life.
Yeah, they were. It was all good. People were pulling this one. People wanting God. People like just, hey, let's just come to the altar right in the middle of everything. Okay, no problem. I want to go be with God. You know.
I mean, I feel that like the changing power of God lately. Like I feel like we talk about it all the time, but I really feel like these people are getting fed and they're not just leaving church and waiting for the next service. I really feel like our people at Freepoint right now, they're to leave. It might just be me, to be honest, but I pray that like
I feel different.
I pray it's a familiar spirit, but like I pray that like I really think that people are leaving and they're staying changed on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, getting fed again, and Thursday and Friday and Saturday, and like they're seeing the change like that Jesus can make in their lives. Like I know I've talked to a couple people that have given their life to God and recently at church, and glory be to God for it. And they're just talking about like how much better their lives are and how awesome it is. And I'm pumped up because this is awesome. Like God is dancing over us at Freepoint Church. I know he is. And I'm talking about that spinning around violent dancing over us, because all of heaven is rejoicing because souls are being saved every single day. A celebration is happening. Me and Dave were talking about the prodigal son story yesterday and how it ended with, the older son being so upset, and the dad said, like, we had to celebrate because your brother was dead and now he's alive again. He was lost and now he's found. Like, we have to celebrate. Like at Freepoint Church, we have to celebrate right now because lives are being saved, like eternally, not just like momentarily saved from like a little situation. Like eternal salvation is happening, and I am pumped up about it because I'm involved you know, like I'm seeing it. God's faithful and He's loving and He is showing out when we let Him show out. You know, every time He's proven His faithfulness.
He is. I guess you're gonna have to share it, Gideon, but I love the story you told me yesterday about how like there. How many times do you give God to actually show out in your life
Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
prove it?
yeah.
You want to share that?
I'll share it. Yeah, I even talked to Brian and Jessica before service about it. Just like that was one of the best revelations I ever had. I was I was going through this time where I was like really praying to God and asking Him, you know, or not asking Him, but just kind of like telling Him so I can actually tell myself, you know. But I was telling God that I know that He's my provision. That money's not my provision, food isn't my provision. Like God's my provision. He can use whatever He wants to. And I was thinking about Him being my provider, and I really felt like God spoke to me in that moment, and you know He was making me think these thoughts, and it was like how much do you trust me to be your provider and to meet your need and to be faithful. And it was about a storm that day. I remember I was laying on my couch and the thunder hit outside, and I really felt like God spoke to me and said, how much do you trust that when it starts raining, then the water's not going to pour in this house on top of you? And I said, 100%. I'm 100% sure that when it starts raining, I'm not going to get wet being under the roof of my house. And he said, all right, when you went to lay down on that couch, when you went to sit down on that couch, how sure were you that you weren't going to hit the floor? And I was like 100% sure. I was 100% sure that I wasn't going to hit the floor. And he said, how sure are you when you talk to me and you pray for healing? And I said, not as sure. And he said, how sure are you, or how much do you trust me that when you're going through a situation like financially, that I'm going to meet that need? And I said, not as sure. How sure are you when you give money to somebody that I'm going to repay you back in full and more? I said, not as sure. And he said, why do you think that is? How many more opportunities have you given this roof to protect you from the rain? How many more opportunities have you given this couch to catch you when you start falling? And then I said, every time it's ever rained, I've gave this roof an opportunity to prove its faithfulness. Every time I've sat down, I've given this couch an opportunity to prove its faithfulness. And every single time that I've ever given God an opportunity to prove His faithfulness, He has. But the thing is, I've given Him so few opportunities to prove His faithfulness that I don't trust Him 100% like I do these other things. And it's all experience. If we can give God the opportunity to prove His faithfulness, He will prove faithful time and time again.
Yeah, back to Pastor's message this morning. You know, yes, like Lord, I know you're going to bail us out, so please tell me what to do, or I'm going to go do this thing so that you can bail us out. But it's because I'm doing these things to bail us out. You know, instead of God just being like, relax. Just, I love what you said this morning. Just walk with me. Just spend time with me. Just walk. You know, we say all the time, like all of our other ministries, it's like overflow from our time with Jesus. But a lot of times we don't act that way. You know? Yeah. But that was good this morning. Go ahead, Luke.
And then how often do we like, me and Pastor, we talked about it earlier, maybe last week, but like how often do we allow ourselves to get in the way of God? Like we always pray for a move of God, but how often do we allow ourselves, or how often do we allow the order of the way things are done, or we allow religion, or we allow just the business of life to get in the way? And back to what Gideon was saying, and everything we've been saying is like, we just have to allow God the opportunity to move. And revival is here. It isn't something that we're praying for. It's actively occurring every time we come to God, every time we look to God. Revival is there. We just have to let God do the reviving.
Yeah, definitely. I text David. He walked out for just a second, and you said something, Pastor, that I was like, David needs to hear this, because he was definitely this is David That was a word for David, and he walked out, so I gave it to him. But
Thank you.
he had to get JB somewhere. But I said, or you said, being busy is not always being productive. And man, I think it's not going even further than that. I think being busy is usually counterproductive when it comes to things of God. Because I think busyness is the number one deterrent of letting God rule your life. And that was powerful. And I was like, David needed to hear that because man, me and David were talking a lot about it lately.
Well, y'all know how everybody knows that, like, that crazy Christian, like, who you're nice to, but you really think they're flaky. Well, this one's for you, Dad. It wasn't my dad, but somebody we know. He told my dad one time. He said, busy. That's like being under Satan's yoke. And I'm like, yeah, that it is. It really is.
That's good. Yeah, because
that's what Stacey Carver said.
All right. So, questions from the congregation, and this is a real question, like not from my house, but somebody else said they heard you briefly mention carburetor preacher a few weeks ago.
Carburetor
Can you
preacher.
expound on that?
Yeah. So a carburetor preacher is a preacher who kind of sounds like this right here. God wants you sitting at his feet every day of your life. How can you hear from him if you're too busy? Busy is being under Satan's yoke, and God came to destroy every yoke abundantly.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and you can't say God without the W.
God. That's good. So they can't get enough air. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so now this one is directly from my house because this might have been the greatest thing I've ever heard you say, and we apologize in advance, Pastor Elizabeth.
Oh no.
So Sunday morning, at least 3 times before you leave the house.
Oh, that's what I was talking about too.
Was that just like, were you just throwing that out there, or is that real?
No,
That's for real.
That's for real. That's for real. And Pastor Liz, she always she'll laugh at me, because
I didn't even have coffee this morning.
Yeah, sometimes before I even have coffee.
So if y'all don't know, like, God talked about this in the Old Covenant. He said when you have to go to the bathroom, go like a long way from the camp and make sure you face away from the camp so you don't defile nobody. So Pastor Brandon, like, he's got to get the cares of the day. He's got to, like, flush them away. So that's what he's talking about 3 times before Sunday. So go ahead.
Yeah,
Sunday morning.
So every Sunday morning, typically, I don't know what number 3. Typically, at least 3 times.
I mean, 3 is a good number.
I go to the bathroom at least 3 times.
Just to be clear, we are talking about Dookie right now, right?
You said that? He said that?
That's what I was like, are we talking about PP? Or are we talking
number
about
one, number 2?
Yeah, he's talking about number 2. Number 2.
That would be wrong after that.
And you didn't even have coffee this morning.
Well, no, I had it, but it was after the first one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pastor got that Charmin at the
I
house.
want to see, like, every time I can't sit. I need to sit at an vantage point to look over at Elizabeth every single time, because every time.
Yeah, she's gonna have to sit somewhere different because you said some stuff.
They need a camera just.
And we can't see her facial expressions.
When you say that kind of stuff, I just want to see if her eyes are going. Move on. Move on.
Hey, let me share this. So when I say stuff like that a lot of times, like, I'm always kind of. I'm in my spirit. I'm like, okay, can I say this?
Somebody needs to hear this.
Yeah, like, am I free to say this? And if I don't get no no stop in my spirit, I just say it.
It's going.
It's coming.
If I don't get a stop,
at least 3 times.
Yeah,
that is
at
good.
least 3 times, son.
That is good stuff. Yeah.
Hey, but listen, it's real.
It's real. Hey, people can relate to it.
Especially
People can relate to it.
Like, look, if you're underprepared, dude, there ain't nothing like getting my nerves going for me being under. Like, people don't understand why I show up to church so early and stuff. I'm even the same way with school. You know, my buddy Colby at school, like his wife asked him, said, "Why does Gideon get here so early?" And I'm like, "Look, there's a sense of peace when the more prepared you are for something." But like that's what was just so good. Like your message was so real this morning.
Talking about people being able to relate. It was so honest.
It
Like,
was
I loved
it was
it.
so
I was
honest.
like, this is great.
I get why you said it because when my nerves are shot, I understand.
And I do appreciate the fact that you can be honest and be like,
Yeah.
I spent time with God on Friday saying,
Yeah.
like, I need a sermon.
Hey,
Like, where
hey,
you
you
at,
know-
God? Like,
you-
God, you got to give me the sermon before I end my time with you. You know, like, I like the fact you can be real
I
like
just
that.
say-
That is good. It's almost like you're trying to hold him into a
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
like I gotta have an answer. I gotta have this, and God's like, I don't have to give you anything. Like,
Yep.
and I'll give it to you when I want to.
I
Yeah.
tell you what,
Just
Lean on me.
just walk with me
Don't-
every day, and
Don't even worry
let me
about
lead.
it. I got
don't
you.
worry about
I
hey,
got you.
and it's real. If you can talk about Dookie 3 times before coming to church and God still being able to save lives left
Yeah.
and right in a church,
People still come
I
to
mean,
the altar.
Lord in mercy.
Yeah.
How does that happen at a normal church? If you talk about Dookie behind the pulpit, dude, you lost everybody. And at this church,
And you might have lost your job.
yeah. And at this church, people's lives get saved. God's like, hey, I don't know. I'm gonna use that though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that
Hey,
right
you're
now.
right. If I probably if that would have been a denominational church,
Yeah.
somewhere, I probably
Yeah.
just got
Yeah.
phone this morning.
Yep.
Hey, now you did a good job, like not really specifying. You didn't say I dookie 3 times before church, like you said.
Use the restroom.
Use the restroom. So like I was sitting there going like, I think we all know what he's talking about.
Oh man,
Yep, that's a good
That was
ending
good.
point right
That's
there.
right.
I wonder what the title of this one's gonna be.
Yeah.
3.
At least
Three.
three. At
Three
least
is a
three.
good number.
Because of your 3 points that you were
Your
talking
3
about,
points, yeah.
the proper setup to it. That was real too, dude. I appreciate you going over that, like telling us. Like,
I mean,
I
honestly,
feel like all of us were like, we could go write a sermon right now.
when he
Yeah.
was doing that, I was kind of like, I mean, I know this is not his sermon, but I do want to take notes.
Yeah. I was like, wow, why would you pay going to? I don't know how many years you went to college. I feel like we just had the run through of your whole college career
Yeah.
in
Speed
like 10 minutes.
Speed run.
Like we knew.
Also, I'm ready to hear the next sermon and be like, that's point 1.
What was that word? Hermeneutics?
Homiletics.
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 There is hermeneutics.
Hermeneutics. That's what I was thinking of. Hermeneutics.
I don't know what you're
All
talking
right.
about. What else?
Hey, I just know Spirit showed up, we had good talks during practice. I felt everything that we were setting up the songs. I felt led. Like I didn't feel like we were forcing that stuff. I felt like it was right. During prayer, when Deshae started playing, when you asked Deshae to start playing, you set that atmosphere for you to start praying, dude. Like, it was thick. It was thick when you were praying, and just like God was backing it up. And when we started, like I was telling y'all during the meeting, like before we started singing, I just went around to the worship team and I said, "Hey, we're not. This isn't about music. This is about lives." And I said, make everybody believe every single word that you say. And like, boy, every time somebody sang, I was like, they believe, they believe in every word they say. It was flowing. I mean, we didn't even get to do the last song.
No, I thought about that on the way here,
Yeah.
and it was good.
And it was great. I mean, just like,
Awesome, Eddie.
I mean,
Awesome.
it was a God filled day. And man, I'm telling y'all, if y'all are listening to this and y'all are wondering what we're talking about, like, please come check it out and find out. Like, if you've been ready for the real Jesus, and just a place that I'm like, I feel it's the world. Like, I feel so weird when people say, "What denomination are y'all?" And I say, we just believe the Bible. Like, if the Bible says it, like we believe that, and we want to do that, and we just let God do His thing. Like, there's not like a set thing going on, And I'm telling y'all, if y'all just want the real Jesus, if y'all are tired of this religion and y'all are tired of this counterfeit Jesus that people are spitting out there, like, come to Free Point Church and feel the spirit of freedom, like feel God actually moving and doing real stuff, like just come experience it.
Yeah, and we're not trying to sell you on like a church program, a church formula,
No.
religion. I mean, there's enough. You can get into that on your own. There's enough of that. But we do that. That was Pastor's message today. Spend time with Jesus, you know. And if you want more Jesus, just come hang out with us, you know. Because like our goal was just to lift up Jesus.
That's it.
That's good.
That good?
Amen.
All right. Thank y'all.
But
That was a good one.
Guys, I can't wait to watch that one. I'm looking forward to that one now.
That's gonna be good.
Don't delete it.